Hello and welcome to Flashback Generations. Pete and I have a special episode here where we are talking about our top 5 personal choices.
Best 5 games ever, so it may not reflect the most modern games or the most popular at the moment. Just looking back over our long gaming histories, what we consider to be the best ones.
5.
So to start off, we actually thought that we'd just do our runners up first. These are games that we considered should have been on the list, but we were messing about and whatever. So my 2 choices that didn't quite make it, Warhammer 7th edition. That was probably quite close to what Warhammer, the original game, was meant to be. I was a big fan of it. But it didn't make the list because it didn't really have a long-term effect with me, apart from like painting all the models or whatever. My other pick was Magic the Gathering by Wizards of the Coast. That was a game I really got into for a good 2 years. I was obsessed with it.
They got you, didn't they?
Yeah, they absolutely got me. They got my money. But I got away. I still love it for what it is, but at the same time, I feel like it's a hard game for me to recommend to anyone. So yeah, that's it. What are your 2?
Mine are probably Dungeon Quest. That was one we spent a lot of time playing as kids, and at the time it was reasonably unique in the fact that you could play it solo, which was great when you're 11 and all your mates are into stuff that's not games and stuff. So really good. Endless obsession putting the little tiles on, making the maze. That brilliant game. And my other one is one from way back when as well, which is Blood Bowl.
Great game.
Many people will be suddenly outraged that it's not in my top 5. Not played it for years, and bought all the new stuff since it's been re-released. Not had a chance to get a game in, but it was it is one of the best games GW ever produced. And they did it for a laugh originally. It was just a lunchtime thing. Somebody put some rules together, and the rest is history. So brilliant game. But they're my runners up.
All right. Well, let's go on to our top 5s then. So my 5th top game is Hero Quest.
Hero Quest is the best game ever made, and anyone who says otherwise is wrong.
By MB and GW.
MB, yeah.
Yeah. This is an old game. You still see it, at car boot sales and whatnot. Quite a lot. People are selling it because it sold such vast quantities back in the old days.
Yeah.
And it's set in the Warhammer universe, pretty much.
Was this the thing that got you into GW, Si? Because I was already into GW.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I was already into GW. And if you were a fan of GW and you're reading White Dwarf, you didn't see that much about Hero Quest when it came out.
Hero Quest.
This was the gateway entry drug, wasn't it?
It's a game that we've reviewed before, and
Yeah.
I had high praise for it when we reviewed it. We've gone back and we've played it, so it's actually not all that, but it's still a great game with kids and whatever. But that rule system has been re-implemented so many times, you can't just ignore it. It is a defined classic. It's a grandfather of too many games to...
It's super generic, but it was exactly the right thing at exactly the right time.
It's the dungeon crawler granddad.
Yeah.
And it will never be forgotten.
Okay, my number 5 is controversial. It's Talisman. There's a lot of boos and hisses from the back of the crowd, but
Which version?
all of them. No, not all of them. Not that red one that had all the GW characters in, and they tried to make it Warhammer. That was awful. But no, 2nd edition probably was the one I had in the 80s, and me and my mates used to play it endlessly because that's kind of the mechanic. It never ends. You can go round and round and round trying to kill each other, but it was kind of like 1985-6's Hero Quest. It was our first fantasy game, for a lot of us, and you just got well into it and played it for hours and hours and hours. When you play it as an adult, it can be annoying unless you're drunk. It can be irritating. It can never end. But so many millions of gaming years have been put into this around the world that, and I still enjoy it now. Love it. All the new editions are brilliant.
I think that the FFG, when they took over and they re-implemented it, I think they did a superb job. It's not quite a balanced game, but I think that is a definitive beer and pretzel game, if you've ever
and it's a
seen
great one for getting, people who aren't hardcore gamers moved that way a little bit, it introduces the dragons and all that stuff.
It's a really good game. We haven't reviewed it, but one day we should do an overview for that.
4.
So on to number 4. Number 4 for me is Warhammer 8th edition. So Warhammer, I've been dabbling with that on and off since I was a kid. Never really got seriously into it. It was 7th, the back end of 7th I got into it. It's where I met Si, some tournament or other in Warrington, and yeah, I'll never forget that game. And then so I just about got enough games in at Warhammer 7th, the last few months of it, to be awful at it. And then there was the big hype of 8th edition, massive hype. It was so exciting. It was like being 12 again. You know, it was maybe a little bit disappointing ultimately, 8th. But the excitement, the razzmatazz, you know, all the new models, the giant monsters that were coming out, all the rest of it, bizarre changes to rules. Remember, everybody was fevered over getting rumours about what the new rules were and all the rest of it. And then we got into it, and yeah, I played right through that edition.
Personally,
I loved every minute of it.
I thought 8th edition was a fantastic game. They did a lot of random charges. Your spells are random. You know,
I guess ranges were gone.
They mixed up everything with a lot of randomness, and it became a very heavy dice game. You know, people had buckets of dice to roll this time, and it was quite a lot of fun for the most part.
It was kickabout fun, yeah.
When the end of 7th edition, there was a lot of composition coming into the game, and there was all these house rules, and you know, nothing was fair and unbalanced. That never really happened in 8th edition, and it felt like they did a really good job of balancing the game.
Yeah, well, they started to creep in, and there's all sorts of bizarre comp systems came in. But overall, you know, it was just a great fun gaming time, really. So that's why it's in.
I'd agree. And you can see that Warhammer Total War, that's probably the closest that they'll come to making a good computer game of it. Even if it doesn't follow the rules, but you know. Anyway, that's Warhammer is a game that we have never covered, but you know, maybe one day.
Yeah.
And then my fourth game, or top 4 game, was Kingdom Death.
Ooh.
This is a game that we have covered quite in depth. You know,
played a lot.
Yeah, we played that an awful lot. We played the campaign through, and we really kind of got our heads around this is how it works. You know, so we have an absolute definitive. You know, the rules are down, and the actual objective and how the
We've
game
got the
works.
scars to prove it, haven't we? Yeah.
It's a punishing game.
Yeah.
You know, that game it doesn't go light on you, and it teaches you by unnecessarily killing you, perhaps.
It teaches you pain and sorrow. That's what it teaches.
Yeah, it's
lovely models though. Very disturbing.
It's a game. I believe the reason I've actually placed it in my top 4 is because I believe that a lot of newer games are going to come out and actually copy it. It is a very heavy solo or, you know, cooperative game. It's only cooperative. There's no against each other or whatever. But the mechanic of how the bad guys work is something that hasn't been done as well as that. I've never seen it. At least I've never seen it as well as that. So you know, every enemy character has an AI deck, and the rules for combat are crystal clear, and the way that they interact it's all very good. And to be honest, I love clarity in rules, and so this to me was a game that, you know,
it's interesting. You know, like some of the mechanics, like you pick up an AI card and there's a sequence of actions on it, and it feels like the insides of a computer game, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's like, if this, then that, then do this, the other. You know, and there's some really good mechanics. I found the relenting difficulty a bit of a grind in the end. You know.
Yes.
And also, I thought the boss battles, because it all takes place in the one board setting.
Yeah.
It felt repetitive towards the end of it, but you know, there's certainly some amazing new ideas. The theme was a massive shock as well.
I agree with you. I think that there's room to expand on that, and I'm looking forward to the future of what we're going to be releasing, especially with the Kickstarters and the way they're coming out. It sounds like Adam Poots, the creator, has a lot of ideas for what should become of the world.
No, it's a good game. It's exhausting.
3.
My number 3 choice is a game that anyone who's ever met me will know that I just absolutely love it. Is Epic Space Marine. This is the game that probably rivaled my Hero Quest, you know, space at the time when being a kid.
Anyone who owns this furniture but doesn't use it every chance they get, even in unrelated games, is a fool. I myself have begun replacing all of my furniture with Hero Quest furniture.
I had so much of it. I still have so much of it, and I still love it.
I won't catch up now, aren't I?
Yeah, I mean, we made, I don't know if you've seen it, but we actually have a video where we actually did a Space Marine battle report where we did homage to a White Dwarf. So we actually tried to recreate it in a White Dwarf sort of fashion. If you've not seen it, like, go and look at it and, you know, tell us what you think.
It was a whole day of our life. That
It was yeah, it was a lot of work, but at the end I was actually like, I really liked doing that game, and you know, hey, in the
It's a
future
great game.
we got more to come. But yeah, Epic Space Marine, it's an early 90s game. It kind of suffers from how do I say it? Not being a tournament game. It doesn't have specifics, I guess.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a little bit
but
fluffy around the edges.
if you've got the right opponent, you're gonna have a blast with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a kind of like you can't take it seriously. Just put your templates down, roll the dice, and
It doesn't get any more cinematic, you know. Some of the little skirmishes and battles that occurred during that mega battle that we had were just immense. And I still remember them 8 months later. We did it at Christmas, didn't we? And it
Yeah.
was brilliant.
it's brilliant. Yeah, I can't. You know,
It's my one and only proper game of Epic ever.
that's a
And,
game I could keep on playing and playing and playing.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm looking forward to the next.
And you get to drive Titans. As a bonus, you know.
Here you go, bonus. Pete, what's your third pick?
My third game, if I can remember something for more than 30 seconds, is X-Wing, the miniatures game.
Wow.
Yeah.
2012.
2012-ish, yeah, some years ago.
Alright,
But I mean,
2011, yeah.
you know, a lot of people watching this will know what X-Wing is already, but yeah, that suddenly popped up. What's not to love? It's Star Wars, it's FFG, you know, so it was brilliantly tightly balanced and for the most part rules. The mechanics, the ship models were pre-painted, no painting. You got all your little doohickeys, templates, counters, probably too many little cardboard numbers, you know, and all that. And it's X-Wings, TIE Fighters, Lambda shuttles, you know, all that stuff going on. Character cards, the whole thing was brilliant. And not only that, it was brilliantly supported. So community sprang up all around our area and all around the world, and it's still going stronger and stronger now.
It is, yeah.
5 years later. I mean, we got a bit fatigued in the end and dropped out, but if I had infinite time, you know, I would get back into it again, because people are still popping up and winning with the good old 8 TIE Swarm, you know, so, and there's grumbles and mumbles about the meta game, but that's a wheel with all tournament games like that. The store championships, the prizes, you know, the fevered mania of trying to get hold of 3 little pearlescent pink dice that you could sell on eBay for 200 quid. You know, it was just all good fun all the way through, wasn't it?
They did
the
so
medals.
They did so many things correct with X-Wing. The length of time is under an hour to play it, so most people can do
Portable,
it.
yeah.
It's a very small base, so you know, people usually have 3 ships or whatever.
Yeah.
So you know, the age group that can play it, you see a lot of kids.
Oh yeah,
8,
yeah.
9-year-olds, like they can pick it up. So
I thrashed behind a 10-year-old, haven't I?
The rule set is crystal clear as well. I mean, you could anything that's been at all grumbled about is covered in the.
Well, they fixed it quick, only or quickish, you know, like there was something around stealth or whatever, and everybody moaned, and they fixed it about.
They
a
FFG
month later.
absolutely created
Yeah.
the best game. It's been the biggest tournament turnout of a game ever.
I think it has, yeah, it's probably
Yeah.
overtook any of the
500
tournament game.
players or so. So no tournaments come near that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has its own hall at the NEC now every year, doesn't it, or something? You know, it's insane.
Superb game. You know, like Pete, like I jumped on it, loved it, and I think we both stopped playing for the same reason, which is that the meta game got a little bit silly. You know, it got a little bit. This new wave is out. What are people doing to make the ultimate killing things, and all their old stuff becomes obsolete,
I think-
which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I think there's just 2 or 3 waves came in rapid succession due to the boat. You know, FFG fans will know what I mean there. And I just couldn't get my head around what was going on. And something else, I think, well, one of my games further up the list came out and basically took over its slot.
Yeah.
But yeah, brilliant game, one of the best ever.
2.
My number 2 pick is X-Wing. If you rewind the tape 3 minutes, you can see our
Hear
report
me
on
ramble about X-Wing.
this. Pete, what's your number 2 pick?
My number 2 is the ground-based sequel to X-Wing, Imperial Assault. Now, Imperial Assault. Number 1 is Star Wars. That's, you know, Star Wars is always awesome. Number 2, it's FFG. You know, you can see the pattern. But it's X-Wing in my mind. When we first saw it, somebody had a copy, didn't they? And it's like, this is X-Wing zoomed in. brilliant, you know, and it's got all the good stuff that the X-Wing had, with some flies in the ointment, which I'll go on about in a minute, no doubt. But I mean, you've got all these Star Wars characters, you've got the maps, tiles that can be put together in infinite various ways, you've got the upgrades, you know, the command cards. You've got, and I think it's a strength and so I think it's a weakness, you've got 2 ways to play it. One is a tournament-based skirmish system, where you build up a list of 40 points or whatever and off you go. And that was pretty much like X-Wing, you know, it was as tight as X-Wing, I think. And then the other one was the fluffy campaign mode. Now, you know, the eagle-eyed will say, well, X-Wing's got a campaign mode. It's got all those stories that you could play out that nobody ever used that either.
True, yeah.
But Imperial Assault, the campaign sucked a lot of us in. I think I've ran 3 over the last couple of years, and Size, we tried one, didn't we?
I've been in 2.
Have you been in 2? Yeah. So I've been through round the campaign a couple of times, and it's just brilliant. You know, it's more of a role-playing thing. You know, the campaign is not meant to be hyper-competitive. I don't think the skirmish game absolutely is. You know,
The mechanic of this game is all based off Descent. If anyone's played that,
I always forget that because I never played Descent.
And Descent obviously was, you know, a copy, a sort of clone of Hero Quest. So hey, Pete loves Hero Quest. This is his number 2 pick.
The best thing about Hero Quest is rolling to move, and you might roll your eyes at this, but it really adds to the drama. Will I trip on a flagstone or leap heroically into battle? Let's find out. Well, the best thing about Hero Quest is ignoring the roll to move rule. It was clearly only included for the junior set, more used to playing snakes and ladders, and not really intended for true masters of the game.
I actually think that Imperial Assault is a superb game. It has a really, really good tight system. You know, I like the special dice in it, and you know, every character having, you know, what the surges do. You know, so I think that there's an unlimited amount of ways to kind of expand on this game. You know, and you can see that in all the newer expansions, like when people just the abilities look bizarre and absurd, much like X-Wing to a degree that, you know, they seem to be retroactively trying to fix cards. You know, Darth Vader's too expensive in the first one. Well, let's put the card out and make him better.
It's like this card that costs 15. If you buy this card for 1, it costs 12. You know, and all that sort of thing. It's like, just do an FAQ or something. You know?
Yeah. Which, do you know what? I'm personally not really a fan of trying to fix things that are.
It's fine.
You know,
it's just another card sleeve to burn, isn't it? You know.
It's obviously the way FFG roll.
I mean,
they do it like that.
To be fair, we loved this game so much that we actually, you know, started making more of it, didn't we? In the Rebel Assault.
We played Rebel Assault. So
the massive attack battles.
We've
and
got the 300, 150 points aside.
Yeah, so you know, we went off homebrewing. We loved it that much because it's, you know, it's a board game, or you can expand it as we did into a tabletop war game of Star Wars, and it's the only one available at the moment, I think. So you know, what's not to love?
Yeah, it
suffers a little with the usual FFG wave, wave after wave after wave.
What Pete was saying,
keep up, you know, blah blah blah.
What Pete was saying earlier about like the reasons why I don't think it works with the 2 systems is because I feel like people come into the game and they play the campaign mode and they're not interested in playing the other mode. Whereas X-Wing only has the 1 mode, so people come in, they play the 100 points, and
it's a battle, yeah.
And that's why they understand it's a battle. So they're introduced as the tournament game. And you know, I feel personally like that's why the Imperial Assault tournament scene has suffered because of it.
Yeah, it's not as big at all, is it? Well, I think partly it's the fact that it's a bit more of a complex system to learn. We were all baffled. You know, what's a surge? What does that do? You know, what's all this, that, and the other? It's not just hits and misses and hits and blocks like it is in X-Wing. Number 2, there was X-Wing. You know, so a lot of people like, I've spent 300 quid on X-Wing. I don't want to spend any more, even though it's lovely, because the box, the starter kit for Imperial Assault is £70 odd, and X-Wing is about 20 odd, 30.
Yes, true.
You know, so there's a few things, but it's still a great game. One of my favourites. Played it for probably 2 years, didn't we? Continuously driving around the region to go to store championships. You know, all the rest of it. Brilliant. Endless videos and audios on in noisy motorway cars.
Oh yeah, if you look back at it, you can see we got 50 episodes of Imperial Assault.
Yeah, brilliant.
1.
And so, my top game of all time ever is Hero Quest. No, it's not. It's Warhammer Quest, the sequel to Hero Quest. This game, I missed Hero Quest for some reason or other, but I absolutely crashed into Warhammer Quest, and we got hold of a box, and it is right there in the middle of GW's 90s heyday, you know, in the middle of Epic, Space Marine, Man of War, Blood Bowl, you know, all that stuff, and there's Warhammer Quest. Tile by, well, you know how it goes probably. It's a dungeon crawler, but it's not a fixed board. It's, you pick your card, you place your tile, you can place it within some limits how you want. So the dungeon's completely unknown. That was a new thing to us as kids, you know.
But what do modern games give us? Oh, they're obsessed with modular dungeon tiles, and that's terrible. Half the time it's a complete disaster as the dungeon immediately veers off the nearest table edge. The other half the time it expands into a colossal labyrinth far larger than any reasonable table owned by mortal men.
So you discover the dungeon as you go. It's all the Warhammer monsters, which by then we were well into, so you could use all your miniatures. You got a load of miniatures with it. It was classic, you know, elf, barbarian, wizard and dwarf, all that stuff. Then they made it really exciting by releasing little character packs, you know, like the Witch Hunter, you know, the War Dancer, all that sort of stuff. So it was just really, it was Hero Quest, but just got me at the right age, the right time, it was the right complexity. And when you'd finished the basic sort of starter box, there was a massive book where you could expand it into nearly a Dungeons and Dragons style experience.
Yeah,
where you could travel off to other towns, you know, do other quests. And whenever there's a dungeon, you did a dungeon. Just immense. I mean, it's pretty, you know, it shows its age now, but it's still awesome. So,
I missed this game because I discovered beer at the time. So, you know, it was the wrong
you could
game.
only have been about 13, so.
I was living in Ireland.
Yeah, fair enough, Ireland. Nothing else.
No, it's a real shame. I feel like I missed that game, and you know, having played it now, I actually think it's a good game, a really good game.
Yeah, we've had a go, haven't we? We had a go.
Yeah, it's been re-implemented as well.
It has, yeah. Now I've got mixed feelings. The first one, Silver Tower, was okay. It was a bit too. It was like Diet Warhammer Quest, in my opinion. They've done another one. Shadows over somewhere or other.
Shadows of Brimstone?
I don't know, somewhere or other.
The cowboy one?
And lo and behold, it's the grim sewers of some city or other in Age of Sigmar.
Oh.
And you're up against, you know, so I've not even opened the box yet, I've got it, but yeah, I need to try that out. They're good, the first one's good, the second one I want to try and see how it's different. But the original, they used to release White Dwarf scenarios for it, in the Citadel Journal magazine, you know, it just went on and on and on and on and on. Because I didn't do D&D, this was kind of like the alternative, you know, it was just awesome. Maybe it makes you play it endlessly.
We did review the Age of Sigmar version, the Silver Tower.
Yeah.
So we did play that and we reviewed it, and you know, there was things.
It leaves you kind of cold. It has something to do with the setting, I think, for me. You know,
the game mechanics in Silver Tower I thought were superb. There were some things that were great.
It was a little bit random.
The charts are all a little small.
Yeah.
I felt, you know, it was going to be recurring a little bit too much, but hey, maybe it's a superb game in the sequel, as you say.
Yeah.
And we'll go on to my number one. My number one, we've reviewed it before, is Pandemic Legacy by Z-Man Games. This is a game that you have to throw away after you play it, so you play it once.
Exactly. So you can never relive the experience, Si.
We did two videos.
Which is the only reason I wouldn't put it in my list.
We've done two videos for this before. We did an overview video and we've done an hour journey video. So the overview video has no spoilers. You can actually look at that, and you know, we actually comprehensively go through it, like what it is and what you get. Our journey just says this is what happened to us, you know. So we talked
the
about
diary,
it, so people can compare their experience to ours. And there was a few big turns that I felt like, well, what happened to you at that time, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I'll make no secrets about it, but I am so excited for season 2. Like, you know, every time I see any new release for anything, I don't care. Oh, whatever, yeah, whatever. season 2, I'm very
What
excited
is
about.
really, really good, yeah.
So anything I've read or seen for season 2.
Like,
is
so the
just
tragedy
brilliant.
is, if you're, sort of semi-casual gamer or you don't know what it is and you read the back of the box, you'd be like, what? I have to throw it away and destroy it as I go? I'm not spending 50 quid on that, but it's so worth every penny, isn't it?
It is.
It really is.
Watch our overview video, and that will hopefully convince you.
Yeah.
It's a game. The big warning I would say about Legacy is the people that you start playing it with, make sure that they are committed to the whole campaign. So
It's up to 24 games, isn't it?
up to 24 games, which is up to 48 hours basically.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
2 hours a game maybe.
Yeah, depending
Hour
on
and a
your
half.
group. If you've got anybody who takes a long time to decide things, it could be 3 hours a game.
Yeah, but yeah, what you want to do is make sure that you got a committed group.
Yeah, but it's brilliant. I mean, it was like the closest you can get on a board game to being in a movie.
And that's why Hero Quest is so great.
So that's a rundown of my top 5 and Pete's top 5 games of all time. Of course, we're not saying that it's a definitive list and nothing else is as good. There's a lot of nostalgia and love in there. Yeah, sure, agree or disagree, please let us know.
Let us know, yeah.
Write down your top 5 below. Alright guys, well, thanks for watching and see you next time.
Cheerio. Number 1.